Alrighty, I promised a double video day, so here we go. I was a little backed up on work, so yesterday's video coming out a little bit late. Today, only 4 games on the docket, so I was able to double dip. And the Orlando Magic, they double dipped, ending their 4 game losing streak, moving up to 2-4 on the season, 123 to 107 over the Charlotte Hornets. No Jalen Suggs, as it was a back-to-back. So Anthony Black stepped up. He had a season high 20 points, shot 3 of 6 from 3. That's something to keep an eye on, as he has struggled a little bit with his shot so far in his career. He's averaging 16 points over his last 4 games. He's obviously a very important player for them, as Jalen Suggs is going to be limited in the early going, both in terms of availability and on a minutes restriction. Aside from Black, Franz had 21, Paulo had 20, Tristan da Silva had 19 points off the bench. Second straight good game for him. Probably needs to get his overall rating above 75. And then Wendell Carter also had a bounce back with 18 points. He was 3 for 5 from 3, so definitely need to reevaluate his 3-point rating. I believe he was 33%, and then he was 2 for 2 in the last game, and then 3 for 5 in this one, 5 of 7 since then. So probably, close to 40%. So probably should be, let's tentatively make him like 75, just because also him taking, 3 to 5 threes per game, he is shooting them with reasonable volume. There are a few centers that are shooting them in higher volume as well, like Walker Kessler. We're going to try to address all of that in the coming days. So, Wendell Carter hitting the three. The Magic hit the three last night, 16 of 38 from three, 42%. And this is with Desmond Bane going 0 for 4. So they got 11 threes from the starters, and Jalen Suggs was also out, so they didn't have two of their best 3-point shooters. If the Magic are able to shoot on nights where those guys are out or not hitting them, they're going to win a lot of games because they have a pretty good defense. It's just the offense has been a little bit of a struggle for them for the last 15 years or so. The Charlotte Hornets go to 2-3 on the season. LaMelo Ball, 17 points, 13 assists, but I mean, again, more, like if you're looking at the counting stats, sure, that's a fine line, but he was 8 of 19 from the field, 1 of 9 from 3. So 17 points isn't great if it's coming on 19 shots. You want to be more like Ryan Kalkbrenner, who had 17 points on 9 shots, 8 of 9 from the field. I immediately recognized how underrated he was. I'm very proud of this 78 overall rating, which is +7 from where 2K Sports currently has him. Worth noting that Zion James started this one, and rather than Colin Sexton. Sexton came off the bench. Zion had 8 points in 28 minutes. Orlando has a bigger backcourt with Anthony Black and Desmond Bane, so maybe Sexton just didn't make sense for matchup purposes. But I like the idea of a defensive guard with the starters, given that LaMelo is not the greatest defensive player in the world. Neither is, Knipple's okay, but he gives good effort, but he's undersized. They've got an undersized 4 in Miles Bridges. So I do like the idea of Zion operating as like, he's built similar to like Lou Dort. They need some defense in that starting unit. And Sexton, of course, he can provide offense in the starting unit or off the bench. He had 19 points in 26 minutes in this one, and bench scoring had been an issue for Charlotte in the past couple of games. So, I'm definitely in favor of them making that kind of change. The Hornets, it's worth noting, also had 21 turnovers in this game. As Con Knippel, he probably had his worst game as a pro, 5 points, 2 of 6 from the field, had 4 turnovers, was a -20. But otherwise he's been all right to start his career. They don't really have a ton of options that they can go with Brandon Miller's sidelines, so they're just going to ride through it, I think. Going over to the Bucks, they had to ride through it today. They were without Giannis, but they were still able to get the win over the Golden State Warriors, 120 to 110, moving up to 4-1 on the season. Bucks are again a team that I was, not, I don't want to say I was high on them. I didn't expect them to be 4-1 to start the year, But they have Giannis, who's essentially the best player in the Eastern Conference, and they have a lot of good role players around him. So the record does not surprise me at all. I already anticipated that they might be like a fourth seed ish team, and they could definitely be higher than that. As it looks like the Knicks might not be as good as advertised. But the way that they were able to win this game without Giannis is was it due to Kyle Kuzma turning back the clock and going nuts? No, he started this game, but he was 10 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 turnovers, shot 4 of 10 from the field. It was a career night from Ryan Rollins. 32 points, 8 assists, 13 of 21 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. Played 36 minutes. He's currently averaging 3 steals per game, which leads the league. So I have him at I did all of the Bucks ratings. But just to reiterate on one of the key ones is Ryan Rollins, who I've got at a 79 overall. There's +4 from the 2K roster. And he's essentially on the verge of being an 80 overall. Yeah, exactly. Literally on the borderline of being an 80. So we'll see. He could end up in the starting lineup once Kevin Porter Jr. returns from his ankle injury, KBJ's injury essentially being one of the best things that could have possibly happened to Rollins. Cole Anthony's been pretty good in his absence as well. 16 points in 21 minutes. It is possible that KPJ could remain in the starting unit if they decided to play him at the 2 and then move AJ Green to the bench. But Green has been effective so far. I'm not really sure what the Gary Harris signing was about. He has not made an impact at all so far this year. Miles Turner also hit some big shots, had his best game as a Buck. And I forgot if I mentioned Cole Anthony. Yeah, he was solid with 16 points in 21 minutes. The Bucks are getting decent guard play. They, better defense. They didn't need Dame Lillard to be a great an all-star caliber player next to Giannis. Those two never really meshed. They just need to run things through Giannis. He's good enough on his own that they can just build the team around him, and his sheer dominance is going to open up things for other players. Golden State Warriors, they dropped to 4-2 on the season. They had a pretty solid game overall, I guess, but they did also lose to a team without Giannis, without its best player. Curry, 27 in this one. Butler, another start of the 2-guard, 23 points, 11 rebounds. Kuminga, 24 points. The box score stats were great. But the defense probably left a little to be desired. Al Horford looked a little old in this one. He was getting switched onto Ryan Rollins in that fourth quarter, and it wasn't looking great. Quentin Post got the start in this one with Horford off the bench. Horford hasn't started since the preseason, so I anticipate that anytime that they're going to go with a traditional lineup, it is going to be Post as the starter, not necessarily the closer. The closer, it seems like, has been Al Horford in most of these games where he's been available. Going over to the Timberwolves, the Thunder, they move up to 6-0 on the year, despite the absence of J-Dub and Chet Holmgren. 127-108 over the Washington Wizards. So not the most difficult opponents, but Shea, just another day at the office for him. 31 points, 7 assists. 0 turnovers. Obviously, Washington not really equipped to compete with the MVP. Isaiah Joe returned in this one, and he was effective. 20 points, hit 5 threes, but that didn't stop A.J. Mitchell from also continuing to put it in the bucket. He also had 20 points. And it was announced earlier today that Nikola Topic. So we got we got a report on the reason why he missed. He played in the preseason, had a really good game, and then it was immediately announced that he'd be missing 4 to 6 weeks due to a testicular procedure. And we got some clarity on that situation. The procedure was to check to see if he had testicular cancer, and it turns out that he did, or he does. So he is going to be out for the foreseeable future as he undergoes treatment for that. Nene Hilario had it back in 2008, and according to Jeff Stotts of In Street Clothes, Nene missed 76 days recovering from chemotherapy. That's about 11 weeks, a little under 3 months. So I believe that, based on my understanding, you would forget about the 4 to 6 weeks from Topic's procedure, as that was just checking for the cancer. So he was, if they didn't find anything, regardless of whether they found anything, he was going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. I don't think that 77 days or 76 days gets added on top of the 4 to 6 weeks. I think the 76 days, or 3 months, let's call it, is that's not. I don't think it's 4 to 6 weeks plus the 3 months. I think it's just going to be a 3 month recovery period for him. Hopefully, we're able to see him. He's probably out for the rest of the calendar year, and maybe we'll see him around January. Of course, the Thunder are still big believers in him, and they're very fortunate that they have all of this depth. That, like, he was a lottery pick for them, and he hasn't even played, and they just haven't missed him at all. So hopefully he gets better soon. Obviously, cancer is no joke, especially for a guy that's young, but the doctors are optimistic. Testicular cancer is one of the top, like, recovering cancers for, like, males. So everybody's super optimistic. Here's hoping he has a quick recovery. But going over to Washington, they dropped to 1-4 on the year. Bilal Coulibaly, he returned in this one, and that sent Bob Carrington back to the bench. So at the end of the day, I was correct to keep Carrington's position as point guard. I speculated that he'd be the one to lose his starting job, so he's essentially now just the backup for CJ, which is fine. Coulibaly had 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks in this one, so he was pretty effective. CJ had one of his better games with the Wizards, 19 points on 5 of 8 from 3, so maybe a little bit of clarity in their offensive roles helped get him going. And then Alex Sarr, 14 points. He has been solid offensively, much improved from last season. Keyshawn George, 12 all-around game, 12.7 rebounds, 6 assists. He is pretty solid this year. Probably should be in the 80s on the list of players I need to get a rating added in for. Chris Middleton, I need to drop him down. Only 6 points in this one. Only 1 rebound in 20 minutes. He's technically the 4. So, yeah, CJ Middleton should not be the highest rated guys on the team. It should definitely be Sarr and George in my estimation, and maybe even Coulibaly. We'll see. Going over to the Spurs, we're going to finish off with them and the Heat. Spurs got off to their best start in franchise history, taking down the Heat 107-101. And why do they have the best start in franchise history? Well, the performance of Victor Wembanyama. 27 points, 18 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 blocks. Had a 40.9 player efficiency rating entering this one. I'm predicting that he'll be the MVP of the league as long as the Spurs hit 50 wins. That's my caveat. As long as the Spurs keep winning, he's going to get it. They don't have to win. Like Shea and the Thunder, they're going to win 60 games. And if they do, like, Shea's another contender for MVP, but I think 50 wins is, like, the threshold that, like, because the obviously the team quality of the Spurs versus the Thunder, it's like completely night and day. So I do think 50 wins is, like, the threshold that I'm like, if they get there, because we've seen guys like the Westbrook MVP, like, where they were like a 6 seed, but because he had the freaking triple double, like, I don't want to hear it. Like, if the Spurs are like a 6th seed, which 50 wins is essentially 6th seed in the West. That's how tough it is. But yeah, I think it's trending in that direction for Wemby. He's in terms of what improved for him, I boosted up his rating even further. He's up to now 96 overall in my roster. 10 free throws a game for Wembanyama, compared to 4 from last season. So he's more than doubled, 150% increase to his free throw attempts this year. He's finishing through contact, 3 and 1s in 4 games versus 23 in 46 last year. So 1 every 2 games last year, but almost 1 per game this year. And then again, 18 dunks in 4 games is also a much higher rate than it was last season. So obviously I maxed out his draw foul rating, and then for badges, I improved his box out beast to Hall of Fame. He's leading the league in defensive rebound percentage and block percentage. So I mean, he's also like he might be the first unanimous defensive player of the year in NBA history. It's going to be, as long as he stays healthy, it's going to be hard for him to not be voted unanimously. I know like part of the reason why there's never been a unanimous defensive player of the year is because defense can mean a lot of different things to different people. And obviously, how you evaluate a defensive guard is not the same way as how you evaluate like a defensive big, or like a wing, or whatever. There's a lot of factors. Everybody's competing, but like yeah, he's just that good on the defensive end, and that's a big reason why the Spurs are 5-0. So I knocked up his box out beast to Hall of Fame just to kind of reflect like he's not like Steven Adams, like boxing people out, but like the 7-4 aspect, like I don't think the game he needs every little bit that he can get just to ensure that the Spurs are going to be that top tier defense and rebounding team. And then also boosted his physical finisher badge. Boosted this up to silver. This could be gold. He drew fewer fouls in his sophomore season compared to his rookie season. So last year was kind of a down year. I would have had gold on him during his rookie season. Right now, his and one rate is at the level of his rookie season. So I could easily boost this up to gold, which I think would boost him to a 97 overall. Let's just really quickly check that. PF? All right. Nope, not quite there, but I know he's not terribly far away from a +1. Yeah, only 5 points in close, which, I mean, I could also just boost his close rating now, probably, based on what he's doing this year. But I'll wait, get another sample of games under his belt. I don't mind doing things a little gradually, but yeah, what a year he's having so far. And then just to round out the rest of the performers in this game, Stephon Castle had his best game of the year, 21 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals, only 2 turnovers. This is something that I've been harping on a lot this year. He's had more games with more turnovers than assists so far, so good to see him kind of turn things around in this one. And then Dylan Harper, who I ultimately think is a better long-term prospect than Castle, given that he's a better shooter and more of like a natural point guard. He had 13 points, 4 assists, 25 minutes off the bench in this one, just solid overall. And then the Heat, LOL, they dropped to 3-2 on the year in this one. I say LOL because some of their stat lines were just completely warped by Wembanyama. 31 points and 10 rebounds for Bam Adebayo was 4 for 13 from 3. 13 3-point attempts for Bam Adebayo. That's insane. And that just shows that like teams are not testing Wemby in the paint at all. Khalil Ware, 7 foot 250, 0 points on 0 for 4 from 3. They're not even trying him on the interior anymore. That's how bad it is. Andrew Wiggins, he had 24 points in this one to give some secondary scoring behind Bam. Simone Fontecchio had 18 off the bench with 5 threes. Only 11 free throw attempts for the Heat, which is, again, just another indicator that teams are afraid of driving on him. Jaime Jaquez was quiet in this one, ditto for Nikola Jovic. So, yeah, the Heat just didn't have enough offense to get by the Wemby menace. So yeah, that was fun. We will be back tomorrow. Probably a bigger slate of games tomorrow. I'm going to try to knock out ratings for a few key players that I mentioned, like Lauri Markkanen, Walker Kessler, Keontae George, etc. The young guys on the Jazz have been playing a lot better. They're on my list. I did mention that Keyshawn George is also one of those players that I got to get to. Maybe that now that Bilal Coulibaly's back, I'll get to him. It's obviously Halloween Eve, so it's also my mother's birthday, so got to take her out, got to go to work. A lot of stuff going on this weekend, but Thanks for hanging in there with me. Again, sorry that the previous video was late, but hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. I will see you guys later tomorrow. Peace.